What's up, guys? It's Beef Chief here, and welcome back to another FC26 video. Today, we are going to be reviewing all of the information we have on tournaments in FC26. Tournaments are back in this year's game. This is one of the most exciting features that they are adding. This takes me back to FIFA 17, playing the daily knockout tournaments to win Team of the Season players. I'm super excited to get into this information, so let's go ahead and start it off with the stuff that they showed us in the Ultimate Team Deep Dive.
Let's kick off with live events, a new home for a variety of competitions, starting with the return of tournaments. Backed by popular demand, tournaments are high-stakes knockout football at its best, with winners advancing and losers getting sent back to the lobby. Tournament matchmaking ensures you'll always face an opponent in the same round as you, guaranteeing intense matchups every step of the way. You'll compete for unique, tournament-specific rewards and have regular opportunities to experience the intensity and glory of knockout football throughout the season. Gauntlets are a new live event.
I'm so excited for these tournaments. So to freeze on a couple of these screens that they showed us, number one, these menus look amazing. Another thing that they mentioned in here was that the matchmaking is not elo based. You will always be matched against somebody that is in the same round as you, which is essentially the same matchmaking that draft uses. So regardless of how many games that you've won in a row, how many games you've lost, you will always just play somebody that is in the same round as you, which I really, really like. They showed off the rewards here, which they showed as well that you can get a reward for even just winning one round or winning 2 rounds, and you can claim those as you go. It's not just going to be you either win the tournament or you don't, which I really, really like here. And then you'll see as well that there will be certain entry requirements. So maybe they do like a 1 league or a 1 nation tournament. There's a certain number of entries that you have to earn the rewards. So we have a lot of minor things that we can see here, and I am super excited about these tournaments. But let's dive over to the pitch notes here, where they go a little bit more in depth on these tournaments. So tournaments are back. Tournaments bring back a classic knockout format with new structures and a flexible schedule designed to appear at key moments rather than run every week or stay evergreen like rivals or champs. Again, I really love this like gauntlets, and that they're giving more depth and excitement to the game rather than just like the monotonous during the week I get my rivals wins, on the weekend I get my champs wins, and that's it. It's the excitement of like, oh sweet, there's a tournament this week, we got to build this specific squad so that we can compete in it and get the rewards. I really, really like it. And it says they'll give full details on timing in those next pitch notes here. So tournaments may include specific entry requirements, entry limits with refreshes, and all that. And again, we get another look at this menu, which looks so clean here. And again, my understanding between the difference with tournaments and gauntlets. Number one, when you lose in a tournament, you're out. A gauntlet, you just keep playing, but the more wins you get, the more rewards you get. So a tournament, you are out, and that uses one of your entries. Another difference is that a tournament is more of that like white knuckled competitiveness, bring your best squad to get the best rewards, whereas a gauntlet is more like use different squads and try to compete for the best rewards while using unique items. So I really like that they have those different modes that have different feels to them as well. And again, oh, these just look fantastic here. And that is all they have in the pitch notes there. So the next thing we're going to move on to here is this Foot Weekly podcast with Jamie and Richard, both developers for the game, talking a little bit about how they revamped tournaments this year.
Just on when you say that kind of you don't want to be too restrictive, is that something that will be monitored as the year goes on? If if there's feedback that people would like kind of like a nations only gauntlet where each squad can only be from like a team made up of one nation, it's not specific what that is, so it could be French one round, German the next round. Is that something you'll be kind of reviewing?
Yeah, 100%. I think there's like 2 things that we obviously need to balance here. The first is that we want folks having consistent spaces. They know that there's going to be a gauntlet coming where they can use the best X number of squads that they have. We want that to be like a motivation in the back of people's minds throughout the year, where they go, it is worth it for me to engage in this SBC, this objective, this seasonal ladder, whatever it is, so that I can get this item. Even if it's not making it into my first squad, there will be a space for me to go and use this in one of my gauntlet squads. So there's going to be a reoccurring like open entry recs go do your thing, or at least that's the plan right now. Now, obviously, we'll listen to feedback and we'll make some adjustments as folks kind of tell us what they like and they don't like. And we're also, in addition to hopefully having that sort of like baseline of like, here's an open rec gauntlet that you can use whatever squads that you want at any time. We'll experiment and we'll have things like, hey, maybe there's going to be a time when it's like, hey, this is only silver items, or hey, maybe this is only going to be, as you said, maybe you get into sort of like a certain international football tournament that's coming up, in the summer that we may theme around international teams, right? Like, so there's ways that we'll sort of experiment and sort of get creative in that space, but we want to make sure that there's that baseline of like, I can always have a reason to have a third, a fourth, a fifth squad.
That makes a lot of sense. I guess the other thing though is, Rich, in creating those two modes, or I say two modes, you've got Gauntlet and also the knockout tournaments.
So that kind of gives you the feel there of like Gauntlet is that more open and creative mode, and then now they're going to get into tournaments where, again, I feel like is more reward based here.
Would you see knockout tournaments as being potentially somewhere where people would bring, say, specific squads like, one league, one nation, etc., rather than that necessarily being kind of Gauntlet's focus?
One of the things that we didn't get to touch on as much in the pitch notes, or maybe wasn't resonating, was the live events and how we're reframing those as well. So tournaments, absolutely. It's not just going to be bring your best squad every single time. We're going to have a mix of things that are very competitive and bring your best squad, see if you can get to the fourth round. But I think what's really important is we're also able to chain tournaments together. So we can have a group of objectives saying like, hey, finish first in this tournament, and you have to win this tournament in order to be able to compete for another tournament that's coming down in the week. So how you think about our game and your play patterns, instead of just being like, okay, grind rivals, grind champions, and every match is like extremely like white knuckled, sweaty, and competitive, with gauntlets and tournaments and now like our live game modes, is there's going to be a lot more opportunity for our campaigns to feel different from one to another. And we're going to be
I love that. Again, it's the idea, he said it there, of not just like playing rivals and champs every week. It's okay, I'm going to play this tournament so then I can qualify for the one that's coming up here. And it gives reason to play the game in different ways.
able to flex like dramatically between how competitive these things get based off of, entry requirements or not, amount of attempts in a tournament or not. I was hearing a lot of feedback from some of the deep dive reactions about how everything having just a total amount of attempts that you can even do adds a level of pressure to the game that isn't always healthy. So that's definitely another thing that we're going to have a mix of, to make sure that our game is already very competitive and we know that we want space for it to just feel like a game,
Yeah. I think one of the other things I saw in the pitch notes that I thought was really interesting was having the different matchmaking systems. So one being a total kind of live events matchmaking, and one being a specific to this tournament or live event. Obviously the tournaments themselves are kind of knockout rounds, but how are you going to decide which one of those matchmaking systems to use, and how is that communicated to the player?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it'll depend on the event. So, for example, for tournaments, it's relatively straightforward. That's just based on what round you're in. We're going to try and match you up against folks that are in that round, or we will match you up against folks in that round. And then for many of our other experiences right now, what we found is that the event-specific matchmaking has been the better of sort of the two. What we started in FC25 is that the majority of our events were actually shared matchmaking across sort of all of the different friendlies that existed in sort of the live friendly ecosystem. But many of the experiences would be based off of, or will be like specific to that, like gauntlet specific to that event. So that you can kind of start fresh on every one, and there isn't these like weird motivations to go and like, well, there's an event that I don't care about, and I'm gonna go tank my matchmaking in that event that I don't care about, and then I'm gonna go like use that to do well in the event that I do care about. Now, obviously, that creates some awkward experiences. Like the first time that you're going into the match, it's sort of this like cluster of like, well, you're on 0 win form. You could come up against like a demon, or you can come up against somebody who's like never played Ultimate Team before, and this is the first time they're doing an online match. So there's some awkwardness there, and obviously we're going to keep an eye on like how players react to that sort of change.
Yeah, so I really like the idea of the matchmate. The tournaments specifically, I think they've nailed it in that you should always just play somebody in the same round as you, which I really like. So the last thing I wanted to hit on here is for people that like never played actual tournaments in the past, and I'm not talking about like the knockout tournaments just to get into foot champs. I'm talking like FIFA 17, you win the tournament, you get the team of the season Rudy, or you get the team of the season Pulisic, or I think there was a Sane as well. These were some of the most fun I had playing Ultimate Team, was these tournaments where you'd go and you'd build your full Bundesliga squad so you could play the Bundesliga team of the season tournament and get the special item. I'm so excited for the opportunities that they have here to like open up different rewards and more exclusive rewards through tournaments. So I'm very excited about this. Similar to Gauntlet, I think this is going to change the way people play Ultimate Team entirely. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But guys, that is going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.